Hello and welcome back to Behind the Brown with Buff Browz. We are on our new set for season 2 today for a very special Mother's Day episode of Behind the Brand. Today we are joined by People's Princess, my mum, Sue Greenland.
This is a good time for me to study for my masters. As a mother, obviously you always have this bit of guilt.
Also, we're going to get a banging lunch.
Okay, my first impression of Carrie.
Welcome.
Hello.
How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks.
Excited?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
I don't know where this is going to go.
You might
but
find
we'll
things out about me that you didn't
we'll
know
never
before.
know.
Exactly.
Oh,
After
God.
all these years.
Mum, talk to us about what you do for us and where you started.
So I started working in HR over sort of 25 years ago now. That wasn't my original intention to go into HR. When I was at school, I wanted to be a food nutritionist.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you know, I've always had a love of food.
Yeah,
cooking.
as the Greenlands do.
Yeah, eating in nice restaurants. So that was my original plan. And then I got partway through my A-levels and I became allergic to certain foods. So I decided that probably wasn't the best career choice for me.
No.
And my dad said to me, that's okay. What would you like to do? I said, I don't really know. And I decided after a couple of weeks that I was going to study business studies. And
What, at college?
Yeah.
Oh,
So I went to college, studied business studies. And then partway through we had to do work experience, and I saw an advert put up for 2-week work experience in a personnel department, as it was then, way back. And I did 2 weeks work experience and absolutely loved it, and then decided that that's what I wanted my career to be.
What company did you work for?
I worked for South Eastern Gas, was my work experience.
Do they not exist anymore?
I think there's a version of them, but no.
That long ago.
And then, so finished college, finished my business studies diploma, and then I got a place on the British Home Stores trainee management program, and I was on that for 9 months, and at the end of it, I got a placement in HR.
And there it started.
And that's where it all started.
How long have you been in HR now?
I think about 29 years, which is a
that
bit
scary?
Yeah, definitely. It's gone really quickly, actually. It doesn't feel that long. And it's changed so much over time, and I've done so many different roles in that time. I've worked in different industries. I've worked for different companies.
Is this your first time in the beauty industry? Yeah.
It is. When I was at Debenhams, I did actually work with the beauty team.
Did you?
Yeah, because we were putting in sort of new products, and I had to help develop a commission scheme, and obviously beauty was quite a big part of the department store. So I did. I like
that we're just reeling off like department stores that don't exist
exactly.
anymore.
Yeah. Well, there's a bit of a theme to my career actually. The early part of my career, as you'll see. But anyway, but this is the first time I've sort of supported a beauty brand, and it was also the first startup that I supported as well, which has been really interesting. So coming in, when you were very small, I literally, it was 5 or 6 people, wasn't it?
Maybe not even that. Because it was Harry and and Kelly, and then we hired Edie and Pippa, didn't we?
Yeah.
That was your first
That was
hire.
my first, yeah. And then obviously now we're at, 18?
Something like that, yeah.
Which is incredible, really, within, 5 years, wasn't it? Because it was around about COVID.
Yeah, Edie and Pippa were, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So that's sort of, and obviously there was quite a bit of stuff in between time.
Yeah. How did you feel when I first mentioned going into the beauty industry? Were you showing an interest?
I've always been really pleased and really supportive, and I think the great thing about you and William is you've always had some idea about what you've wanted to do as a career.
PSA, William is my brother.
Oh yeah. And so I wasn't surprised, because I know you've always been interested from a very young age. You're interested in fashion and beauty, and even from the age of probably about 2, you would pick your own clothes, and you just had a real interest in that. So it wasn't a surprise. And then when you started talking about going to university to do sociology, and an interest in doing marketing and social media and comms, so no, I'm not surprised at all that this is what you've ended up doing, because you've sort of merged all of the things that you have a real passion for. So,
what about when I said I was going to go and work with Harry?
Yeah.
Because Harry is one of my brother's best friends, and I have known him since I was, 3?
Yeah.
And Mum has also known him for that long as well. So obviously there was a first impression of Harry that you had, which I think actually is probably the first point to cover.
Yeah, exactly. My first impression of Harry. So obviously I've known Harry since he was about 3. He was in the same class as William, my brother.
Yeah.
And he was always just like really bubbly, cheeky little boy. He was round our house an awful lot.
Yeah.
Obviously we lived near the school, so as he got older, he'd be there.
Yeah.
So he's always sort of been part of our life all the time.
Yeah.
We've lived in Oxted. And I think when you said about you were going to go and work for him, you'd obviously just come out of that placement, a 6-month placement.
I worked in PR 6 months, yeah.
And the work, it was awful, wasn't it? 'Cause we were just going into COVID. So there wasn't a lot of work. And you just came home and still Harry's asked, me to join him.
After he pestered me every day at Waitrose.
Exactly. And I just thought it was a really good opportunity to come in, build a business.
Yeah.
I think it's phenomenal. At the age that you all were then.
Yeah.
What was Georgie and Harry were 24, 25.
Yeah, I must have been 21,
you
22,
were 21.
yeah.
Yeah, because you just finished uni. You haven't been at uni long. And I just thought it was a phenomenal opportunity. And you were early in your career that if it worked out, amazing. If it didn't, you were going to gain some great experience.
Yeah.
So, so I didn't really have any concern about you coming into the business. And, you've known Georgie and Harry for a long time.
Yeah.
I guess there's always that bit about working with friends.
Yeah, it's tricky.
It
seems to have worked out a bit.
It has worked.
We have said though, haven't we, like so many times, if someone had told me 10 years ago that I was going to work with Harry, I would have been like, absolutely not, like no way, because he just like wasn't that boy, was he?
No. And it's funny when I look back and think of all of Will's friends, and it's like, which one would have been the one that would started a business?
You wouldn't have put it down as Harry.
But,
it was like on GCSE results day, all the boys came back to our house, and it was like, Harry had like two GCSEs, I think, one in PE and IT, or he got maths and IT or something, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean,
none of them did very well, actually.
But they're all doing really well now. And I think the great thing about that, and something I've always said to both you and Will, is actually all you need to do is get what you need to be able to do the next thing.
Yeah. There's never been any pressure.
No, and actually, if you don't get the grades you need, or you don't get the job that you want, you just move on and
because with all due respect, we're not the most academic family, are we?
No, definitely not.
No, but you went to university, didn't you?
I did it later in life.
Yeah, but you still had 2 children.
Yeah, I
went
did.
to university.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So
how was that?
When you were younger, well, at the time I was working part-time, so and I knew that I wanted to do more, because I was doing the same job that I was doing when I went on maternity leave with William. Well, actually, when I came back from maternity leave from William, because I was very fortunate that I went on maternity leave, and you've got to think this was 30 odd years ago, and there just weren't many opportunities.
No.
For many women when they came back from maternity leave. And I had a brilliant manager, and he just rang me when William was 4 months old and said, I want you to come back. Oh, by the way, it's a job share. So I was the first job share in Debenhams.
Ever?
Never had a job share before. And, oh, by the way, we're going to promote you, because the person I was job sharing with was in a more senior role, and she had had a baby.
Right, okay.
And so I went back to work part-time, and me and Dad had always had the conversation and said, all the time that you were young, I would work part-time.
Yeah.
So I was at a point where I just knew the job inside out. I didn't feel I was being stretched. You were still at nursery at the time, and I said to Dad, I think this is a good time for me to study for my masters.
Yeah.
So I went back to college, studied on the days that I wasn't working, and then, got my degree. And then when you went to school, I then went back to work full-time.
How did you find juggling children? and work and college and
Yeah.
all of the above.
It's a distant memory now. It's hard. I think it comes back to, one, I think if there's something you want to do, you make it work.
Uh-huh.
So, for example, I knew I had to do all these assignments, my dissertations, and I just remember saying to Dad, your dad, Stephen, I just said, I'm just going to go for it. What that means is I'm going to go on holiday, I'll take the kids on holiday, I'll take Mum and Dad with me, Nanny and Grandad.
Yeah.
And I will just study in the morning, Nanny and Grandad will take you out, and then in the afternoon we can do stuff.
Did we do that?
Yeah, we did. We did it for about a year.
Where did we go? Like France and stuff?
No, I think we went to Devon, Cornwall.
Oh, okay,
those
right.
sorts of places.
Yeah.
And I, again, I've been very fortunate that I had a great support network around me. I had, Nanny and Grandad. I had Grandma, Stephen's mum. I had two amazing friends who were they looked after you one day a week.
Oh,
so
yeah, Val and Pippa,
William, and then Val looked after you. And they would always step in and help.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dad is amazing.
He is. He's a new man, his dad.
He's a new man. So he's always been really supportive of, well, all of us, but
he is.
Certainly my career.
Bless
And
him.
if actually, in a number of cases where I've seen a job and I've gone, I don't think I'll apply for that because it's too senior or I haven't got that experience.
Yeah.
He's been like, no, apply for it. And then I've got it. And I'm like, I've been offered the job. And he's like, yeah, I knew you would. So he's been ambitious for me, which has been really brilliant as well.
So we had this conversation last night. You're 37 years married this year?
37 years in May.
And then how many... as I'm in claps in the background. Yeah. And then you're 37, 38, 39, 40, 42 years together? Were you 5 years together?
Yeah, 42 years. Yeah, because we were together for...
A real love story.
Yeah, four and a half years beforehand. So, yeah,
Very
there you
cute. Go. So you obviously have worked for a number of companies. How did you... Because Mum now contracts for us, as well as a few other places. How did you end up building your career so that you could, work for yourself and have that kind of flexibility and freedom over
so
what you wanted to do?
Initially, I'd always been a sort of HR business partner, and then I worked my way through to being head of HR.
Yeah.
And when I worked at Lehman, I worked with an amazing lady called
Following
Jeanette.
the theme.
There was I did say that, didn't I, early in my career?
Yeah,
there's definitely a theme. And Jeanette said to me, I think we'd had a couple of heads of learning and development, and for whatever reason it hadn't worked out. And Jeanette said to me, I'd like you to go and lead learning and development. And I said, I've never done it before.
Yeah.
She went, well, you sort of do bits of it, don't you? Because as a generalist HR, you do learning and development. And the best thing she said to me, she said, right, go and do the job for 8 weeks. And if you don't like it, you can go back and do your own job.
Right.
But she knew that was never going to happen.
Yeah, she knew you were going to love it.
So I ended up sort of as head of learning and development at Lehman. And then I went back into HR because obviously we had to sort of close the business unit down that I was working for. And then I left there, joined Orange. I had the summer off, do you remember? Because I always said I'd have the summer off.
I remember you used to come pick me up from school and you'd have the dog.
Yeah, exactly. So I had the whole summer off because I wanted to spend time with you and William. And then at the end of that, I ended up joining Orange. And I was head of HR, loved the role I did. And we merged with T-Mobile.
Yeah.
And I was part of the project. And at the end of that, my role was redundant.
More, yeah.
But they asked me to lead L&D again.
Back into it.
Go into it, learning and development. And so on the back of that, I decided that I was sort of in a place where at Debenhams I'd led employee relations.
Yeah.
I'd been a generalist business partner, head of HR, and then I had, done these 2 head of L&D roles in 2 different sectors. I'd got different sector experience as well. And I thought, actually, you know what, I reckon I could I could start doing some consultancy.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I did consultancy.
Fine.
And I worked in consultancy for about 3 or 4 years. And I always said if I went to the right organisation and I wanted to stay and, you know, they wanted me, I would stay. And that was Landsec. And Diana joined as HR director and asked me to stay. And so I ended up there for 8 years. And
were you really there for that long?
Yeah.
Jesus,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a long time. But again, I did different roles.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Because I was head of HR and learning and development. And then she asked again, you know, sort of one of those moments where Diana said, I'd like you to lead reward. And I was like, never done reward before.
Can't do that.
Did you see my school exam results?
For maths. I think actually I remember distinctly Mum applied for a job once and there was like some sort of maths questionnaire situation. I think it came back asking if you had a disability, did it not?
Yeah, probably. So yeah, maths was never my strong point. Anyway, I did the head of reward role for 3 years, and again it was just I've been very fortunate because I've had managers like Jeanette, Julie, who was my manager at Debenhams, and then Diana.
Yeah. Who
just saw something and gave me the opportunities.
You. Yeah.
And so when I left Landsec, because me and Dad were going travelling, of course it was COVID, so all our travel plans were cancelled.
Where were you going?
We were going to America, then I was going to Canada.
Oh, yeah, and then France.
Yeah, and that was all shelved. And then I got back into consultancy again.
SJG HR consultancy was reborn.
Exactly. We sort of got it out the cupboard and started it again. And so I've pretty much been doing that since 2020.
Do you think you'll stick doing that now?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, and it's just been lovely because I've got to work with some amazing organisations.
Yeah.
I've done some brilliant projects. I've worked with some brilliant teams.
Yeah.
I've again had the opportunity to work with some amazing managers. You know, Lisa at the Crown Estate. You know, more recently, Lucy with the Royal Parks.
Yeah.
I'm working with a fantastic philanthropy foundation.
She's got a varied CV.
I'm just about to start another role for a year working with a BrainKind.
Yeah.
Who support people with brain injuries and neurological conditions. So what's been interesting, I think, in this sort of part of I sort of call it the third part of my career, I'm leaning more towards organisations that have got a real purpose to them. So charities, philanthropy, organisations that are sort of doing good, I guess. And that resonates a lot with me around, you know, the type of work that they're doing.
And
so
the
that's
type
really
of work you want to be
exciting.
doing as well, isn't it? Like...
Yeah, and also I'm doing being able to do a job that I absolutely love, I have a passion for.
Yeah, you're good at.
And that's exciting. Yeah, I guess probably I wouldn't have survived this long if
no.
that hadn't been the case.
No.
But, yeah.
Do you think you learn anything, as it is the Mother's Day special, do you think that you learn anything that you've applied to, like, your working career from Nanny? I guess and or Grandad, but he was a pretty modern man for his time.
I think he was probably the original feminist father.
Yeah, he
if
was.
I'm honest.
No, he was.
Because to think, you know, they got married in, 1963.
Yeah.
And he always encouraged my mum to work.
Yeah.
And he would look after me and my sister. He would cook. He would... He just got on with it.
Yeah.
And always really encouraged my mum.
Yeah.
In her career.
Nanny was a florist.
Yeah.
She's still around, isn't she, Nanny? Grandad
she
unfortunately isn't, but Nanny is still with us,
yeah.
floristrying.
And then when Dad had 2 daughters, he continued that idea that it didn't matter whether you were a male or female, you absolutely had the same opportunities.
Yeah.
And I remember when we went to my nan's once and she served up dinner for us. And then we got to the pudding and there was leftovers.
Right.
And she only offered it to my male cousins.
Fuming.
And my dad was livid that we hadn't been offered. And that's how passionate my dad was about women having equal rights.
Yeah.
And that was really unusual because that would have been in like the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah. When
it was so Dad was amazing. And I remember coming home after when I knew I couldn't do my A-levels anymore, and my career plans were
Was
sort of
over.
in tatters.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, I've got to go home and tell them that. And they were so supportive. They were just like, do what you want to do. You know, we'll support you.
But I think you and Dad are like that. I think you've really like taken that from Nanny and Grandad and
But the hard thing is when you meet your partner, and obviously Dad's upbringing was different.
Yeah.
In that he had a very traditional, you know,
like
Mum stayed at home, Dad went out to work, Mum did everything around the house.
Grandpa
you'd be
did
lucky
nothing.
if you got a cup of tea.
Yeah. He'd only
lovely man, but
he'd empty the dishwasher maybe, and he'd carve the turkey on Christmas Day, and that was it.
Yeah. So there's always that. When I met Stephen, I was like, oh, he could turn out like his dad.
Yeah.
But then as you get to know them, and as he was telling me stories about, actually, I see what my dad, and I've made a decision that I want to be a very hands-on father.
Yeah,
so,
he's more like Grandma as Dad, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. And he's more like Grandad in the sense that...
Yeah, 100%.
You know, he looked after you.
He did.
He always sort of put you and William first.
Yeah.
So, so I've been very fortunate.
Good men around us.
And you know that is really important to have a supportive partner.
Yeah.
Because we just split everything 50-50. There's never, I don't have to leave him lists. So he just gets on with it, and it's always been the same.
You get a cup of tea every morning in bed, don't you, Mum? Yeah. Does the dishwasher while he makes a cup of tea.
Yeah, the secret to a long marriage.
From Dad.
Yeah.
What have I got? Okay. Do you have any advice you'd give to someone who would want to get into kind of like the business space, or if they were just starting out?
I think when you're just starting out, I think follow your passions. Do something you really enjoy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it's easy to... I want my child to be a doctor or a lawyer or a, you know, whatever. But actually just follow your passion, because I think if you really enjoy something, you will do well at it.
Yeah.
Because you'll put the effort in, you'll put the work in, you know, you will be willing to spend time learning more about whatever career you do. You know, you will study, and therefore you will be successful. And if people don't know what they want to do, just go into something, because what you find is when you get into an organisation, even if you're not quite sure what you want to do, you get to learn what other people do. And then you can say, oh, actually, that looks really interesting. And you can talk to people and find out what they do and how they got into it. And so I do think it's, you know, it's hard. It's almost, nowadays, it's the opposite problem to what I had when I left school.
As in there wasn't enough choice.
There wasn't enough choice.
Yeah.
So, you know, my careers talk, which was probably about 10 minutes at most, consisted of, well, what do you want to do? Well, I don't really know. And I didn't know at that stage. I was probably 13 or 14 or whatever age you get your first. And I was told, well, you can be a nurse. And I was like, that's not happening. You know, my...
Big fat no.
Yeah, absolutely not. You can be a secretary. I was like, not sure. You could be a teacher, but you probably won't go to university. And that's exactly how my careers chat went. And I came out there thinking, well, that great. Yeah, exactly.
None of it, thanks, yeah.
Whereas now, of course, there are so many jobs
that
you can go into. So I think in a way it's, you know, it's hard in a different way, because there's so many jobs that how do you even decide?
Yeah.
But the great thing about it now is you don't have to stay in that job.
No. You
People
can make a sideways
around.
move, yeah.
Whereas, you know, when I left school, you went and joined a company and the expectation was you'd stay there for 20, 30, 40 years, which I'm glad didn't happen, because that would not suit me at all.
No.
But so I think it's quite exciting in some ways if you can, you know, just try stuff out. And if it doesn't work, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you go to an organisation and it's not the right organisation for you, find something else.
Yeah.
You can do something else.
Yeah.
So I think it's in that sense it's exciting, but it's also, I can understand, it's also slightly daunting.
Stressful and scary.
Yeah. And network as well.
Yeah.
Network, get to know people, talk to friends, talk to family. talk to people at work about what they do, what do they enjoy,
how
did they get
there?
into it. Yeah, just get as much knowledge as you can, and then, you know, you'll find your place.
Yeah.
Everybody finds their place eventually, I think.
Given all your life experience throughout your entire career and your work life, what advice would you give to Ellie about progress? Or what advice would you give to your younger self?
I think for both of us, actually. I think, one, have a level of confidence about what you can do. I probably was not confident enough early in my career.
Yeah.
And in a way, Dad probably compensated for that. He was sort of the confidence behind me. I think so when I think back to, you know, when Jeanette said to me about doing the head of L&D, learning and development, and then Diana doing the reward role, I often think, if those roles had been advertised, would I have applied for them? And I probably wouldn't.
No, because why? You would have been like, well, I don't have the experience.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's quite a female trait. I mean, there's research that's been done on that, where you look at a job description and you look at it and you say, oh, I can't apply for that because I've only done 50, 60% of the role, whereas a male will apply for it.
Yeah.
So I think I would definitely probably have taken a few more risks in my career.
Yeah.
So I would say, sometimes you've just got to go with it. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. You learn from that experience and you take that forward into whatever you do next. And, you know, make sure that you meet somebody, your life partner, if you happen to be lucky enough to find one, that is supportive of you.
Yeah.
And doesn't feel threatened by your success.
No.
Won't be concerned if you end up earning more money than them.
Yeah.
And is ambitious for you as well.
Yeah.
That would be my best advice to you. Yeah.
Thanks, Mum.
And enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you spend a lot of time at work. And I always say to my team, you know, we have to deliver this, this and this. But actually, it's really important that we have fun.
Uh-huh.
And that you enjoy coming into work.
Yeah.
You know, I've been lucky that, you know, apart from, I've only had one role that I've done where I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I've been very, very fortunate. All the organisations, all the teams, all the people I've worked with. And I think, I
think I've learned that from you, like, not necessarily that I manage too many people at the moment, but like being a good manager and being able to be like, have fun, like do these nice things, like come into work and enjoy what you're doing. Like, it's that like good managerial of like, not the old school, like you start at 9 and you finish at 5 and like, but when actually someone's finished at 4:15 or like 4:45, I mean, what's the point in starting something for 15 minutes on a Friday? Like, go home at 4:45.
Well, it's like people come to me and say, oh, would it be okay if I leave early because I've got to go and pick my kids up from school, or I've got to go to a nativity play. I'm like, why you even ask me? Just go.
Yeah.
I'll make the time up. No, do not make the time up.
Yeah.
Because they're the things that your children and your family remember.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember a few years ago.
Yeah, with Blue Water.
We went out, didn't we?
Yeah.
I said, I think we were having lunch, and I said to you,
and
William was
with
we were
us both
as well.
there, yeah.
And I said, I have to ask you this. I said,
was it like a burning question?
Yeah, it's one of those questions where you want to ask your kids, but you're never quite sure the moment to do it.
That
was the moment to do
yeah.
it. And I said, you know, as a mother, obviously you always have this bit of guilt that you've always worked and you've missed out on things. And I said to you both, and you're both like in your 20s then, and I said, you know, do you ever feel you missed out because of the fact I work?
Yeah.
And you both said together, absolutely not. And I think William said, I realised that had you not worked, we would have had the opportunities.
No.
We wouldn't have had the holidays.
No.
We wouldn't have had the experiences that we've had. And you said, you said, you know, absolutely not. And then one of you said, I can't remember which one of you said, what you remember is you used to come to all our
sports. Yeah.
Me and
class
your dad
assemblies.
We used to take a holiday and come on school
trips
with you.
Yeah.
And you said, no child remembers you taking them to school and picking them up from school
every single day. Yeah.
And I was like, blimey.
Worked for so long, but didn't need to bother.
Exactly.
Also, I think it was nice that...
Then I was like, well, actually, that's really true, because my mum worked.
Yeah.
And mum and dad were always at, when I was in shows, assemblies, parents' evenings, they were always there.
Yeah. It was also nice because we got to spend time with... So on a Monday and Tuesday, my grandma would look after Will and I, and then on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Nanny and Grandad would look after us. Which is also like what we were saying about my grandpa not being involved, like traditional. That's it. Whereas Grandad being there was like less traditional, like of the generation.
And you had an amazing relationship.
Yeah,
with
and we got to have such a lovely. We got to like have time with them.
Yes,
which I think was really nice. But you were always there for like the stuff that mattered, nativities, sports days, all that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Every time we went on a school trip, we were there. I bet you were thinking, "Oh God, not my mum."
No, I think it was having a parent on a school trip was the best thing.
Oh, okay, good.
Also, we always get a banging lunch, and then you'd always get put in what you'd also end up being put in a group with your parent and then also your friends.
Yes, that's true.
So like Lauren and Olivia and all my school friends would then be my best friend Lauren, her little sister Becca also now works with the graphic designer, but like you'd always end up with one of the girls like on your team, and if it wasn't you, it was Liv's mum or like someone else's mum who would join in. So
no, I guess so.
Oh yeah, you were there for the good stuff.
You go. So the other thing, if you are fortunate enough to have children at some point, then don't have that guilt.
Yeah.
And it's something actually. Whenever I talk to, I was talking to a colleague the other day, and I was saying, about the balancing of picking your kids up from school and just trying to manage everything, holidays, and I tell that story.
Do you?
Yeah, yeah. Because I said, if you ask your kids in a few years' time, they'd be like,
nah, don't worry about it. Yeah, just don't carry the guilt.
It's really not a problem. So, yeah.
There's the answer. And that is a wrap on our Mother's Day special of Behind the Brand with Buff Browz. Thank you, Mum, Sue, for joining us.
You're welcome.
Did you have fun?
I did, actually.
Was it as bad as you thought it was going to be?
No, it was great.
Okay, good.
Enjoyed it.
Good.
I mean, I've got to see the end result, but...
We'll blame it on Owen if not. Don't forget to tune in next week where we are joined by Bridie from Buff Browz.